Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and I wanted to get back into the podcasting game for a while. I've made that clear before with Rustl'd when that was meant to be its own thing, but I never really cared for the name, to be honest with you. I never really cared for any of that in regards to, Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is just a quick little intro. I decided to revamp the old Weird Wild What the Fuck, which then became Rustl'd, which was never meant to be a podcast name, but I just kind of ended up there. I wasn't happy with it, so I've rebranded it once again for the last time, and I introduced to you Cruising the Brink, a show where we talk about the crazier stuff out there, the stuff that YouTube would instantly demonetize, and the stuff that makes you really hope for Giant Meteor 2020. So get ready for this, and if you like it, be sure to let me know in the comment section. We can always do more of these. I do want to turn this into more of maybe a couple night a week thing, just going through what's out there and laughing at the absurdity of the world we live in. So thank you guys very much, and here we go. Tonight, we have an eclectic mix of crazy stories that are going on in the world that I feel you probably need to know about. And the first one is going to be based on a tragedy, but this is legitimately true. And I have seen a lot of people lose their mind, but not as many as you might think. It says here, MGM Resorts International sues more than 1,000 victims from the Vegas mass shooting, denying any liability. And this has been a big problem, right? This has been a big issue because people were wondering whether or not the shooter from Vegas, if the Mandalay Bay was going to be responsible because it happened on their property. And of course, any business owner is not going to want to be associated. But then again, we live in a country where you can sue for just about anything. So it says here that MGM Resorts International claimed in a new lawsuit that it has no liability in any of the injuries or deaths in the October mass shooting in Las Vegas. The company, which owns Mandalay Bay and the Route 91 Harvest Festival venue, argued that its security vendor took all necessary precautions approved by the Department of Homeland Security for protecting against and responding to acts of mass injury and destruction. Now, I am of the belief that they are correct here. If they, in their casino and their hotel and the venue, took every available option, or every available caution, I should say, to keep this from happening, to keep this sort of thing from happening, yet a guy from across the street busted out a window and opened fire from across the street, and no one could prepare for something like that because they weren't anticipating that. They, everything in that moment, it's a tough one. I'm more in line of, probably like, I don't think they should, I don't think they should be held liable, but they're suing. Which is crazy to me. They say here that I've never seen a more egregious thing, where they sue victims in an effort to find a judge they like, says attorney Robert Eglett, who represents some of the victims. He says that MGM is judge shopping in federal court rather than state court, where he believes any lawsuits should be filed. It's just really sad that they would stoop to this level. Well, I get it. I understand it. Or I'm not saying I condone it, but I understand it. This is a company that, felt the blowback from this. They were the ones that this took place in. They're obviously going to be dealing with it in their own way, but they're going to be suing people in federal court in order to get all of this dismissed to protect their ass down the road. I almost wonder if it would be cheaper if they offered to cover the medical expenses for the victims. I mean, there was 50 dead? And like nearly 500 injured as a result of this. I mean, like in any way you look at it, it's a terrible situation. But is MGM and Mandalay Bay, are they responsible in a court of law? Again, we live in a country where you can sue, like where there are people that go around from business to business to business, and they look to see if there's any violations. Oh, you're missing a sign here. You don't have a wheelchair ramp here, blah, blah, blah. And then they file a lawsuit against those companies as a way to then profit and force those companies to go through a court proceeding in order to, say, okay, we're going to do this thing you want us to do. And then those people then make money from a cash settlement. And this happens quite a bit. So it's like there's always a question in there of whether or not this should be allowed in the first place. Now, Stephen Paddock opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, killing 58 people and leaving more than 850 injured. See that one? I didn't realize it was 850. That's so many people. That's so many people, but it's, again, one of those things where you're just like, are they responsible? Is MGM, Mandalay Bay, are they responsible for it? Should they be held liable for it? And ultimately, I kind of land on the side of no, but then I look at this where they're suing 1,000 people, and they're doing this as a way to make sure that they're not held liable in a federal court. That to me comes across as a bit scummy, when I feel it would be the better press would be to help take care of their medical bills. It's not like the casino is not making money hand over fist, and that the resort itself isn't making money hand over fist. But businesses are going to business, and that's just what they're going to do. But let's talk about the story over here where it's a prank gone wrong, where a man is dead after getting an air compressor shot up his butt, and his coworker comes back with just it was a prank, bro. It was a prank. And of course, this is coming out of Japan, which is not really the place I thought this would happen. I figured this would happen probably somewhere in Iowa or Alabama. But leave it to the Japanese to always find an interesting way to kill somebody. You could commit seppuku with the frisbee, or put an air compressor up your butt. So it says here that a good prank is fun for everyone involved, especially the person on which is being played. A bad prank, however, can be the opposite of fun. Now, according to reports, there's a prank that happened on July 13th around 5 p.m. at a construction machinery manufacturing plant in Ryugasaki City, Ibaraki Prefecture. I'm going to butcher these names. It was here where one of the employees at the plant, 34-year-old Yoshiyuki Yoshida, allegedly used one of the air compressor guns normally used for fastening screws to play a very unfortunate joke on his coworker, 46-year-old Akio Ishimaru. After aiming the gun at Ishimaru's rear end, Yoshida set it off, blowing highly pressurized air into the coworker's anus. Okay. Questions. I have questions. One, were their pants on? Or did Akio bend over, spread cheek, and just go, all right, boy, fire it on in, or however you would say that in Japanese? Those are questions, because I think that kind of, this has got to be pretty hardcore compressed air if it does end up killing him, because it says not long after, expressed that he was feeling unwell and taken to the hospital. Ishimaru died in the hospital, and then it was reported to the police. So he got a blast of air up his rectum, and then he wasn't feeling very well. He went to the hospital and he died. That's crazy that happened. That's not the first time I've heard of that happening. I was first introduced to the idea of bicycle pumps up your butt when I was in my teens from my friend's father telling me how him and his friends used to force themselves to fart by doing this back in the 70s. It was a weird time in the 70s. All right. But apparently it's still alive and well just now with air compressors. Now, police are saying that the air went through his pants. Okay, so they go through his pants. And they suspect that it was this which caused the injuries to his lungs, which are thought to be the cause of his death. I don't quite understand how he would get blasted through his pants, and it would go up through his sphincter, his anus, his lower intestine, his upper intestine, the stomach, and then up the esophagus to the lungs. I don't know where this particular train is going. You know what I mean? I don't quite know where this flow chart is taking us. If he took it up the ass, through his pants. But then again, I'm no doctor. I'm no scientist. I'm a schlub on the internet. Now, Yoshida was arrested on July 14th under suspicion of committing manslaughter and has admitted to the allegations, reporting to the police, "I did it as a prank." This is the second incident in less than a year in Japan, which a man has died after a coworker shot compressed air into his anus as part of a prank. This is a prevalent problem in Japan. The previous incident occurred in December of last year, a story which was broken by English in Japan Kyo. The incident of two men at an industrial waste treatment plant held down their coworker and shot compressed air into his rear end, resulting in internal injuries and death not long after. And then there's even another incident in Hamada City. Again, a construction site, and an air compressor shut up his coworker's anus. He didn't, but this particular guy didn't die. But even last year, July of 2017, another story happened. In Kyoto, where a man was arrested after he allegedly caused injury to an acquaintance during a barbecue by shooting compressed air up his anus. Now, listen here, guys. I'm not one to attack Japanese culture. I think they want to sell used girls' underwear through vending machines is entirely fine with me, or whatever they're into in terms of tentacle porn. But I think we can agree. That right now, it does appear like there, in fact, is an epidemic happening involving Japanese men and shooting air or compressed air up their friends' anuses as a joke. It's so far taken the lives of a couple people. When will the madness end? Right? When will they get back to just fucking waifu pillows? That's what I think they should do at this point, right? These guys, look, I don't really have a solution or an answer to this, so I can only speculate. So I'm just gonna speculate because that's what I'm gonna do. I think this is a weird bonding ritual that's just gone horribly wrong. Maybe Jackass made its way to Japan. Maybe these guys are looking at it from that perspective of thinking that it's funny. And maybe they're thinking of it very similar to like a death-defying stunt. Like, well, you got about a 50-50 chance at this point of it killing you or you're living. Either way, you're not going to be happy tomorrow, but you could be alive or could be dead. Who wants to get air up their booty? At this point, I think these guys should really just focus on their game, learn to pick up Japanese chicks, and then procreate because Japan really needs it. It's probably the most patriotic thing they could do for their country. And apparently the government will in fact give you a nice tax rebate because they need babies. They need babies really, really, really bad. But let's talk about another stupid thing that I don't quite believe in terms of it's always a prank. The sick man who had sex with a horse claimed the animal gave him consent because he was winking at him. So let's just man fucks horse. Man gets caught fucking horse. Man tells cops. It's cool, bro. I had affirmative consent. The horse winked at me. And you wonder why I named this podcast Cruising the Brink. Can we just tip over? I think we're done. But let's take a look here. Okay, so Daniel Raymond Webb Jackson, 31 years old, was jailed for 10 months and fined nearly 400 pounds after he was caught when the trainer installed CCTV cameras in his stables, right? Now, this is in Australia. So Webb Jackson is from New South Wales, Australia, and has pled not guilty and tried to justify his perverted act in the court by claiming that the filly had smelt his crotch and winked at him. Now, listen, I think every guy and every woman listening to this has been in a situation where they've maybe misinterpreted a sign. Someone smiles at you, gives you a wave, winks at you, maybe does something you think is aimed at you, but really it's aimed at somebody else. We've all kind of been there, right? Whether it's, whether it ended well, ended badly, or ended in an embarrassment. We've all been there. But now you've got this guy who literally fucked a horse because she smelled his crotch and then winked at him. Look, let's be realistic here. Who here, type 1 in the chat. If you've ever seen a horse dick, just bad dragon or real, Freddy got fingered or real, right? You've probably seen a horse cock. If not, Google it, provided you're over the age of 18. Oh, it's an animal anatomy. So I don't know, maybe whatever your state regulates is for that. But the point is, horse dick, huge dick. Horse dick, big dick. I mean, they're like the John Holmes of horses, except that's every horse is a, big swinging dick. And I don't think this guy was going to. So I don't think this horse was feeling pity, on what she would view as like a micro penis if it was a horse dick. You know what I mean? It'd be smaller than a micro penis. It would just be like, oh, is someone's aggressively bumping into my rear. I don't feel a thing. To him, it'd be like a hot dog through a hallway because she's literally been caved out by big horse dick. So I don't think that's the thing. Now, however, the trainer and his staff had just installed the cameras in the stables as a security measure due to suspicions over disturbances the previous month. So maybe this Daniel Webb Jackson guy, maybe he had been coming back around. Maybe this filly and him had a solid relationship, you know. At least he felt that way. Now, after the stable owners suspected the break-in during the evening in question, the police discovered Webb Jackson hiding in the stable, and he was arrested following a brief brawl. So they caught him. He ran away probably with his pants down, and then they caught him, and he tried fighting his way out, and just it wasn't going to work. Now, the trainer for the horse, who had been preparing for it to race, said the animal was no longer the same after the traumatizing experience in January. And I know I've made light of the situation in terms of penis size, as well as the cavernous vacuum that is a horse vagina, but the guy still raped a horse. So, I mean, there's clearly has to be, you have to think of the horse too, right? Because the horse didn't do nothing wrong here, right? The horse maybe winked at him. She wasn't asking for it, you know? Like, this is her Me Too moment. And all she gets is a really, 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 poorly written article in the Irish Sun. You know, that's not really, I think, doing her any favors, right? So this here, she's only a little 2-year-old. The filly went from being quiet to just being high strung. She changed in 24 hours. And that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. That's a terrible thing. Now, he goes on to say here, you don't want to see this sort of thing happening. It's sick. It's really sick stuff, which it is very true. It's very horribly terrible. Bestiality is no joke. Should never be done 100%. People out there really like it. So again, look, Bad Dragon makes horsecock, right? Makes huge rubber horsecock. You can find it on Pornhub. Question though, I mean, why not? Like, would it be entirely out of the question? I'm not advocating for this, but entirely out of the question if, like, they were to make a horse vagina that one could fuck. I mean, just imagine how many times you've heard stories. Man fucks goat, man fucks sheep, man fucks horse, right? And then they just release these, like latex vaginas of a horse. Like, there you go. Do you get here's a Clydesdale. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not suggesting that Bad Dragon go out and do this, but you almost have to ask yourself, would it have any kind of impact on stemming these things from happening again? Who knows? Anything is possible when you live on the edge, which is kind of where we find ourselves right now. And speaking of just something that is so out there, but what the hell? Apparently, because now we go back to Japan, because we're going on a world tour, right? We're back to Japan for the second story. This Japanese town is suffering from a ninja shortage and is willing to pay $85,000 to anyone who wants to be one. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you, but I do know that I have always wanted to be a ninja. Now, it'd be a fat ninja, like Chris Farley in Beverly Hills Ninja, but a ninja nonetheless. Completely decked out in black gear, rocking a katana, right? Folded over 1,000 times. Can cut the hair off of your head in twain by just looking at it. You can hit someone's heart so fast 5 times that it explodes. You know, the cool shit. But apparently it's you can if you can do a ninja, if you can be a ninja, you can get $85,000 in Japan. Now, I'm assuming that's 85,000 American based upon how many yen it is, but let's find out here. So it says the small Japanese city Iga, the birthplace of the ninja, is suffering from a dwindling resource. The ninja population is on the decline. Now, to counter that, if you look at Japanese population as a whole, the birth rates have declined. So it only would make sense that the ninja population would go down because there are fewer people being born, right? So it is very much a supply and demand marketplace, I guess, in terms of occupations. So maybe fuck more? That could be a thing. Now, the city with the population of 100,000, many of them are ninjas, we assume, is not faring too well as a whole. Younger Japanese people are moving to larger cities and turning their backs on the ninja life. Oh, There's nothing. Come on. Like, ninja's the most Japanese thing ever, outside of the previously mentioned hentai and, like, you know, vending machines with questionable materials inside them. But you figure with, like, ninjas, man. Fucking ninjas. Everyone wants to be a goddamn ninja. That's been the whole thing forever. Everyone's wanted to, that you grow up reading ninja stories. In the late 90s, we had realultimatepower.net, which is a website I wholly recommend you check out. Ninjas were the coolest thing ever, right? There's even a great movie series called American Ninja with Michael Dudikoff. And quite frankly, I've been looking for a reason to reference that 4-movie series forever. They're interesting. They're fun. They're really weird, but they're good. But it says here that Sally Hirschnips recently reported that Iga's woes on an episode of NPR's Planet Money. She also outlined the benefits of the ninja lifestyle. Well, if people from Tumblr are looking for a job and a way to all of a sudden become cool, they may want to partake in the ninja lifestyle. Get some fit, get some healthy, get some out of their house, right? Get some to another country. This kind of feels like a really awesome, like really awesome plan. So it says here that this job does have a lot to offer. First of all, the pay is quite competitive. Today, ninjas earn anything from $23,000 to about $85,000, which is a really solid salary. And in fact, a lot more than real ninjas used to earn in medieval Japan. That is true. Then again, you have a competing economy, and you've got the cost of living increase, and they're competitive, and they're also short-staffed right now, so they really, really, really need ninjas. So again, I just want to reiterate this point. If you, listening to this right now, have ever had a dream to become a ninja, just so you could go and answer that question, who'd win in a fight, a pirate or a ninja? And you're like, I have firsthand knowledge of this. I know that a ninja would fuck up a pirate because I'm a goddamn ninja. And then you bitch slap Captain Jack Sparrow on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and then go about your day. But still, medieval Japan, it was a lot different. I don't think you have to kill anybody. I don't even think medieval ninjas killed people like we know them from pop culture. But the idea there is you can still go out and be a ninja. So there's one stipulation though. However, Iga is not seeking bona fide ninjas to run around the city cutting off heads with swords and chucking ninja stars. Instead, they're merely seeking ninja performers for tourism purposes, which makes a lot more sense. It does. It makes a lot more sense to have them be tourists because there's that idea. Now, my question is though, can one be? This is just during the tourist season. Can a fat 36-year-old guy head over there and I've taken acting classes, you know. I could lower my voice, go, and really fake Japanese. I could learn some key phrases, like "domo arigato, Mr. Roboto," and do it like that, like grow guttural. Like I'll smoke a pack of cigarettes first, and then I'll go down there and be like, ugh, right? And so, this guy's a real deal. I mean, he's very fair-skinned, and looks like he'd be better off playing E Honda than playing a ninja, but he's got the guttural sounding voice down. And then I'll throw like pop snaps at their feet, and that'll make them think that these are like defective smoke bombs by ninjas. And I'll just carry a frisbee with me everywhere. And only the true meta of the internet, the true internet denizens will understand what it's like to commit seppuku with a frisbee. Seriously, sign me up for this thing. I would totally go and do that because it sounds like a much better summer job than this guy right here. So the final story tonight, guys, is Vienna's metro hands out 14,000 sticks of deodorant to passengers amid stifling summer heat wave. Now, listen, I am a veteran of Comic-Con, right? The San Diego Comic-Con International, I've gone 18 times. I'm missing this year, unfortunately, but I've gone 18 times. I have smelled what has come out of your mother's basement. I have smelled what has been just sitting on the body of a person who doesn't ever shave or shower for 4 days in the hot San Diego weather in the middle of July. I have taken that stench in my nostrils for years. So yeah, honestly to God, if you know, handing out 14,006 of deodorant to people is probably the right move, Vienna. I gotta give you, I give you props. I give you credit. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. It says here, anyone who has endured London's Central Line during the heat wave will doubtlessly sympathize with their fellow commuters in Vienna, where things have gotten so bad the authorities have had to start handing out free deodorant on the city's U-Bahn trains. That's right, folks. It stinks so bad in Vienna that this is a government-issued thing. I want to know, like, who was the response team that went down there to lead the research? You know what I mean? Like, who went down there and they're like, sir, it's terrible. Oh, like, we lost Johnson. Johnson succumbed to the smell. The only thing that can save us now is massive deodorant. Quite frankly, look, if I was a deodorant manufacturer, man, I'd be like, you know, I would be like paying to like lobby for that just to get the contract. Now it says, while London Underground gave out free water to help travelers cope with its sauna-like trains in 2016, in Austria it appears that the public transport company is more concerned with unsavory odors. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm on board with that. I agree with that. I think that's okay. Now, the staff handed out free deodorants to passengers on Vienna's notoriously stuffy U-Line this week, and it appears the initiative was popular. The entire stock of 14,000 deodorant sprays was grabbed in a single day, and plans for a second distribution have had to be shelved. Okay, so people clearly knew that it smelled like just rank ass. Rank deodorant. I mean, listen, here's the thing, guys. The smell from your body, a lot of times it's in the hair, right? So if you trim up your pits, you trim up you manscape a little bit, or if you're ladies, you know, you probably already wax it. Although it's Vienna, I could be very bohemian there. I have no idea. But you go and you clean up the area during the summer months, right? You make it a nice clean experience for everybody involved. Then you're going to notice there's going to be a smell decrease. But apparently 14,000 people really, really, really wanted this thing. Now let me tell you how they should have handled this versus like just giving out a free stick, right? They should have had like deodorant application areas, like, you know, here's a curtain, here's some deodorant spray yourself, get on the train, get the hell out of here. All right, I think that would have been better served overall, because that way you're not putting it on people to take the stick and then not use it, right? Like, you know, because you know how it is. You give somebody something, they're not going to sit there. They're not going to sit there and be like, yeah, no, I'm totally going to use it, right? They're going to forget. Okay, but it's like, treat it like a virus. If just one gets through, the whole thing is ruined, you know? Treat bad body odor like a zombie apocalypse, and make sure that you vaccinate every single person. I think you would have taken a little bit longer, but you would have had you would have saved some lives. Remember Johnson? He died for this. Now, the deodorants were torn out of our hands, says Daniel Amon, a spokesperson for the Wiener Linen Public Transport Company. But he insisted Viennese commuters were no smellier than those anywhere else. This is primarily intended as a consultation or consolation. High temperatures can also make one more aware of odors. Yeah, no. People are generally aware of how they smell. All right, it's not hard. Like I said, you know, trim that shit up. Temperatures, though, at 35 degrees Celsius were recorded on Vienna's U6, just shy of the Central Line's 35.5 Celsius, but well beyond the EU limit of 30 Celsius for transporting cattle. Now, listen, as an American who uses Fahrenheit like God intended, I don't know what that is, but I know that 40 Celsius is 105 degrees Fahrenheit, so 35 is like 90 something to 100. I don't know. It's in that range of where it is warm, which means you can get ripe. Let's be realistic. That's where we find ourselves. But the situation on most of Vienna's U-Bahn system is considerably more comfortable than London's tube. So there we go on that one. They definitely want to make sure that you know, it's more comfortable. So they're giving out deodorant. They're making sure that people out there 100% are covered, 100% are smelling good, and making the overall train experience much nicer. And you know what? Hey, listen, when it comes to people that are being bros for other people, trying to make it a better experience for everybody, that takes us back from the brink. That takes us back from the edge. Not by much, because body odor is still disgusting. And there are people out there that you know, I know that they know. They don't care. The rest of us care. So don't be a bitch. Okay, wash your pits. There we go. That's my public service announcement to you. And that essentially it goes through the stories that I've got covered here. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to send me. You can do so via the Discord or via Twitter and anything else. But in the meantime, that's what I got. That's the podcast. That's Cruising the Brink 000, the pilot episode. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was just one part of the live stream. After that, Magog of Morskar and Satsu 2 Cents came in. We had a rousing conversation about pop culture for a while. And that's ultimately how I want the show to be. I want there to be the introduction, which will be the news stories. And then afterward is the chat. We'll take calls, hopefully bring in some guests and make it more of a fun thing. So we get through the crazy news and then we discuss the crazy news as well as whatever the hell else it is you guys want to talk about. And that's why I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Expect more Cruising the Brink very, very, very soon. And please leave your comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great one and peace out.